It'll be these 4 dives that they repeat in the final later today. 2 dives left then in this preliminary competition. Anna Tuxen from Norway is leading us off in round 8.
Tuxen competed yesterday in the platform. She finished 8th, made it into the final, so she's had a really packed schedule.
.43.20. Again, the rankings not easy to follow when you've got such a big field until they really start to get down the back end of the round. Diving next is Massam Nagy of France. Just a little bit of extra rotation there. Trying to get all the height they can manage off that, the lowest of the levels of diving. Just straight 5s there. Katerina Nekrasova of Russia. The Russians doing very well in this aquatics center.
Trying to get as much height as she can into that tight, hiked position.
She is the 2013 European Junior Champion at 3 meters in the 14 to 15-year-old age category, getting 2 7s and a 7.5. She got a silver as well. The worlds. Swiftly on to the other Russian, Polyakova, who's another European Junior Champion at this height.
Consistently good scores from the judges, 7.5. That is classified as good on their marking scale.
One of the few divers from the Republic of Ireland here in Baku, Natasha McManus.
Was a back 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. Her most difficult dive that she's decided to put in, a difficulty of 2.5.
Born in the Republic of South Africa, she also competes in the British Championships. 6 and 2 5.5s, 42.50. Kamila Veres of Hungary with a back 1.5 somersault. Really trying to pull her legs round into a good position, working right through her core there. The core strength, so important to divers.
Hungary yet to feature on the podium, but Veres has a lot of work to do. 6s all round.
Daniela Alexandra Vyshute from Lithuania.
Oh, didn't manage to complete the full rotation, so she didn't get to that vertical position, and that's where we saw that extra splash. You'll see it now, legs just not getting to that required vertical
seemed to get quite a bit of height off the board initially, but 2 3.5s, that's very disappointing for her. On now to Maja Boric, down in 19th place. (18 years of age). She'll be in the final year of her junior eligibility.
There really is a mixture of ages at this European Games. It is a junior competition for the divers, so 18 is the maximum age we'll see competing.
3 6s there, yes, across all the aquatics events here. It was FINA's decision to make it a junior event, means of fitting it into the schedule, the World Championships for... from Lithuania. Again, getting the height, but throwing herself into the rotation, but just not able to really get that nice straight line in.
She doesn't look too happy with that dive. Going back to get some feedback from her coach. 4.5 gives her 33.6.
Dominika back from Poland. 9th when she was in the under-15 age range in the European Junior Championships. So even though she's only 15, she's got a bit of top-level competitive experience behind her. You can also see they're trying to dive straight out from the board, but quite often they're going off at a bit of an angle there. That is not really what the judges are looking for. 2 5s and a 4.5. We're going through a little bit of an untidy spell at the moment. Need someone to smarten it up for us.
Judges are watching from the side. See them on the right-hand part of your picture there.
Adeline Kokus from Switzerland.
Really came out of her tight tuck position as fast as she could. See that compact, and there she is, opening up nice and early to try and get that clean entry the judges will be looking for.
Still down in the 5.5s at the moment. Frida Kallgren is just the right side of the line at 11th. .6 the tariff. Obviously at 1 metre the degree of difficulty is that bit lower. She's hit the water quite heavily there, rotating over.
That is her only dive with 2.5 somersaults, so one of her most ambitious dives out of the 9 she's put in.
Shouldn't underestimate the sheer strength you need in diving, and these younger divers haven't really had the time, some of them, or the training, or the development to get what they need. Now, 13th place, this is something of a challenge.
She only scored 5.5s on her previous dive. She will be hoping for 6s and above to secure a place in that final.
Belihurskaya of Belarus. She's got a 2.6 left in her locker, but she'll need to get better than 4.5s, whatever the tariff. Millie Fowler from Great Britain up in 3rd place at the end of the last round. This should raise the standard a little.
She really had a pause in the air. It looked as though she had more time than some of the other divers, and that is just showing the explosion she has off the springboard.
A powerful girl. She's only 5'1", but a bit of a pocket rocket. 2 7s and a 6.5. Britain doing very well in the diving pool already, with a gold and a bronze yesterday. Catalano Gonzaga from Italy.
That was quite a challenging dive. Degree of difficulty 2.6. Really stretching herself for that. A reverse 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twists, and maybe just a little bit more than she's quite ready to score highly on. Awarded 5s by the judges, giving her a score of 39.
Viviane Barth of Switzerland, 5th. Can you keep this going? Pretty relaxed there. Just need to get through. They do like to get a good position. And remember, the marks from their compulsory dives are carried forward. 43.20, 3 6s. Margarita Zhusova of Ukraine. Ukraine can always be relied on to send a healthy contingent. That's a very nice, clean entry. Didn't hang about on the board either. Right, strapping, taping to be more accurate, down her back.
And I think that's going to be an improvement on her previous dive, and it is 6.5s. She only scored 3.5s on her previous, so that's going to help with her confidence going into the final round.
Kaja Skierczek of Poland, 16 years of age, bronze medal at under 15 in the European Juniors a couple of years back.
There goes the power, that's a back 1.5 somersault. Bracing her hands to make the entry as clean as possible.
6s, 41.40. Olga Kovskaya, I think, should be next. And we're on Daphne Wills still. My apologies, coming through. So thick and fast here.
Another back 1.5 somersault for Daphne Wills of the Netherlands. Getting as much height, keeping that body tension As they enter the water, that's what's so important, and the judges will really be noting in their marks. Quite a mixture of results, but you see, just take the 3 middle results to get the best average.
Now Olga Bikovskaya. Girl from Azerbaijan, originally from Breda in the Netherlands. Host nation in the aquatics events has got a team out, though I must say the spread of birthplaces is a little interesting. Diana Shelestiuk certainly bringing this level of competition to Baku has showcased an awful lot of sports, and the facilities are excellent here.
Wonderful pike position, knees completely extended, but just not quite upright when she came to enter the water.
Tape, I do believe, sort of holds muscles in place, especially the old myofascia underneath there, with some athletes quite like that to be just supported a bit. Not going too far down my very limited medical knowledge. Not quite what was required there.
And I think poor Nija Zakorska really lost her confidence on her previous dive. She only got 1.5s, and you can just see the look of her face as she's entering the water. She knew it went wrong, and it's like she pulled out at the last minute, didn't complete the dive, so therefore does not get any score.
Catherine Torrance, 10th, with just a little bit to spare, but not much. Another one from the city of Leeds, where there's a concentration of divers, although she is from London. Croydon, to be specific. Bouncy sort of dive, straight into it and full of action. Again, you can see them just coming away towards the side of the pool there, yawing a bit.
Really pushing herself with that dive. The most difficult dive yet in this qualification round. So she gets 2.6 to multiply that score by.
Rusa Kanerva now from Finland. 8th she is, in a good position. Just needs to keep it going. Saw her coach there with her camera phone out there, and that's quite a new little invention the last few years. You'll see a lot of the coaches recording them there and straight away going around the back and talking them through it. Marvels of modern science. 2 6s and a 6.5. This is Luisa Stuczynski from Germany, 18 years of age. Been competing at the top level since 2011 in European Junior Championships, where she was a gold medalist at the platform. Now concentrating more on springboard. You get quite a few divers at this younger age who are still experimenting, deciding what is their best discipline.
She really used the full length of the board to get that momentum.
Michelle Stoudenherz, back 1.5 somersault. She's a fair way down the pecking order at the moment.
1.5 somersault. A lot of divers putting this in as their 8th dive, their penultimate dive.
Again, rather untidy in its conclusion. Giulia Rogantin from Italy, just 16 years of age.
Now that was her most difficult dive that she's entering, and I think most probably not her cleanest.
Three fives. Again, going to emphasise it's been a long, tough day for them. Josephine Schneider completes the round. She is 4th. A lot of height off the board there, but again, the entry not flawless.
Well, with a difficult dive like that, she will have the advantage that the scores the judges award are times by 2.6.
Some of these divers just seem to have a knack of just hanging there a moment. Quite sure how they do it. I suppose it's called talent. At that 2 4s and a 4.5 when she was going well. Hopefully, for her sake, she's got a bit to spare. Let's find out. One more round to go. Nekrasova of Russia in the lead. Millie Fowler of Great Britain, and the second Russian, Polikova, right there. But this is the interesting bit. Daphne Vils just edging out Caroline Lecoeur at the moment. The gap is 5.7, so work to be done for those who want to catch up. But so often we've seen already, this comes down to the ability not to get it wrong. It's when we get to the final tonight that bringing out the big dive becomes more relevant. This is about consistency, making sure you don't have a catastrophe, especially if you can be solid in those opening rounds which carry forward. Junior competition has a different structure to the senior events. There's none of that in the senior competitions. Just 5 straight dives, and that's your lot. It's a real pressure sport. Anna Tuxen then leading us off into the final round.
You can see she starts to twist as soon as she leaves the board, and as a result doesn't get that straight takeoff she would have wanted. But equals a 42.9. That was a difficult dive, so she gains points for that.
Massam Nagy.
She needed something really special to make the final. She was down in 18th, 6 positions away from tonight's qualifier.
.5s. Nekrasova of the Russian Federation, going very well. Just a cleanness about the leading divers, you can tell. It's all nice, neat lines, good, sharp entry.
Well, again, that was one of her most difficult dives. She saved it till the end. And I expect she will have just opened up her lead a little bit more with that.
Two 6.5s and a 6 counting there. Maria Polyakova, European junior champion at the lower age range in the past. Now she's 18.
And the coach's expression says it all. Watch here where her feet land. Just off the end of the board, she recovered that very well.
So much work you can do all the way through the dive, and the judge is looking for that. The approach, the takeoff has to be right. The elements of the dive as well, and then working all the way through to draw yourself through the water into a good position. This is Natasha McManus from the Republic of Ireland.
Inward 1.5 somersault. It's that final dive. A lot of these athletes we will see coming back to compete in the women's 3-meter springboard.
Sixes, which is steady in this competition. We're not going to be seeing many nines. We did get a glimpse of the odd 9 when we got to the thick end of the finals yesterday. But sometimes, if you see what I mean, these young divers, like the 15-year-old here, just not quite completing it properly.
Well, at least she can smile about it.
Daniela Alexander Vichute. From Kaunas in Lithuania. Just giving the water a right old slap there with her legs. See her legs coming over and feet whacking the water. 2 3.5s and a 3. Good effort though. Well done, coach. Maja Boric.
Getting her exact position, ready for takeoff. Inward 1.5 somersault, pushing up into that tight pike position. A little bit of over rotation on entry.
Caroline Lecoeur, 13th. She's the one that is maybe looking to see how her opponents respond, but she's got to get her bit right. Really throwing herself literally into it, 16-year-old. She's certainly committed to it. Not really the execution required. Indre Gauraskaita, the Lithuanian, 19th. She had a run out in the FINA Diving Grand Prix in Rostock earlier this year for a good bit of experience. The Grand Prix are the events that tour around the world and give the top divers regular competition. 3 5s. Dominika Bak. From Poland. way out from the board, really getting a lot of distance away.
Really want to be making the most of the power. Wasn't disastrous, but I think she had her eye on the final. She was in 16th before that and knows that that was not enough to get her into the final later. The top 12 are the only ones who will make it.
Tough world sport, doesn't matter what it is. You win some, you lose some. You're having a bit of a problem there with the pads there. They've all got the old school notebooks at the ready, should that be required.
And a few discussions going on amongst the judges and the technical officials. There's always that backup. So they do have the manual system if we need to go to that. But the judges look poised and ready. It's a long day for them as well, and they cannot afford to blink at the wrong moment. They don't get that advantage that we have of the slow motion replay.
They do switch the judges around. She's still there and suffering a bit. Dominika back, confirming her scores there. Not that she's too interested at this precise moment. Hopefully she'll be okay and back on those boards as soon as she's ready. Good luck to her. Madeleine Cocus. From Switzerland.
Drifting off to the side again, away from the judges. Judges are sat right next to the poolside on ground level. You can just see them there in the background.
They do rotate the judges, they do work shifts, so they're not there for the whole 3-hour session. Frida Kallgren of Sweden now. A lot of Scandinavian divers competing here, which is very good for that development of their sport. It's a pretty clean effort.
She needed a good result. She was in 11th going into the final round. She just needs to maintain her position on that leaderboard in order to make it into the final.
Trying to work that entry all the way through. That's the other end of the scale from just a few minutes ago. She's absolutely delighted. Belyhurskaya from Belarus.
see that rotation. She doesn't manage to come out of the rotation fully and still at an angle when she enters the water, and the marks are reflecting that. A disappointing dive, 26 points.
She was still twisting pretty well on entry, you could see from that top-level replay. Millie Fowler, second at the moment, and very tidy in her work from Sheffield. Again, that's another centre of diving excellence in the UK. She's got a fair bit to spare in terms of qualifying, but she'll want to wrap up her first part of the day's work in a nice, clean manner. Don't know whether the ponytail helps or not. Not something I could speak about myself with any great expertise. Catalana Gonzaga down in 21st place.
Could see as she entered the water, she was still rotating. Her legs carried on after her. So if we watch the slow motion, there she goes in. Legs keep going on past that over rotation.
Tania Cagnotto is the great diving springboard inspiration in Italy, those girls. Vivian Bart is up in 5th with her final dive here.
And she looked from this angle very close to the board, but coaches are happy. Let's have a watch from a different angle. She had slipped off to the side, actually. Can be deceiving.
39 straight fives. It was a 2.6 tariff as well, but she's got the job done. On now to Marita Shusova. Hitting that water as she continued to rotate. Kaja Skrzek from Poland into the final if she keeps it going. Heavy strapping on that left ankle. Joints take a fair old pounding, even though you do get quite a few gymnasts who switch to diving just to avoid the impact injuries.
We had a very tidy approach to the takeoff.
Great replay there, really shows you all the effort they put in. That's solid enough in the circumstances. One of the Polish girls is happy anyway. Daphne Vils, she's the one just making the cut. Just looking to get round in par, as it were, with that dive. So she's not one of the ones sent home. Just a bit heavy on the entry, legs coming down, hitting the water. 5.5s and a 5. She might have to keep a close eye on everyone around her. Bikovskaya, representing Azerbaijan.
Well, she looked like she wanted to get that over and done with. She didn't have a good position on the board a long way off the end and nowhere near the desired vertical position when she entered the water.
Diana Shelestiuk of Ukraine, fourth. Looking for a tidy finish. Not getting it, unfortunately. .4 the tariff there, but pretty irrelevant with those scores. Should be hoping she's done enough anyway. Anya Zagorska.
She managed to get into that tuck position, but it is how quickly you come out of it at the other end, and you can see she only just manages to start extending those knees as she hits the water. 3.5s, 4.0, a score of 24.
Catherine Torrance from Great Britain, 8th. Looking to make it 2 Brits in the final 12.
Not the perfect position for takeoff. Coach waiting for the scores. See if she has done enough to make it in to the final. She had a few positions spare. 8th before this.
Taking the message on board there. Rusa Kanerva from Finland. She was at the World Junior Championships along with bulk of these divers, apart from the ones obviously too old now to still compete at junior level. She was 17th at 1 metre, maybe on the European stage. She might be performing a little better, but needs to increase her work here. Luisa Stuczynski from Germany, from Berlin. Second in the European Junior Championships at 3 metres. She's got a bronze at 1 metre as well in the European Juniors. Very energetic, attacking it. Can't pick out Croatia's coach, can't you, with that red and white check? Mid-range for the competition. Very few 8s we've seen. 7s have been more than welcome. Michelle Staudenherz of Austria.
Didn't have the power that some of the athletes have on the takeoff. Trying to get herself into that tight tuck position. Long legs takes a little bit more effort.
Again, we're in the 5s. Julia Rogantin Not a very Italian-sounding name, but she's from Trieste. Just 16 years of age. Nice and tidy, nice entry. Just falling away when we see the dives from a different angle, you can appreciate the whole 360 perspective on it. Got a 7 there, that's good to see. And last but not least, as they say, here's Josephine Schneider, who's 10th and looking to complete our lineup for the final.
Well, she dropped from 4th to 10th with her previous dive, but I think that could well be enough to secure her slot in the final.
Three 6.5s, 50-70 to conclude her programme. Let's have a look at the final list of runners and riders for our final later today. Anxious looks. Well, the Russians first and third split by Millie Fowler there. 2 Brits, 2 Germans, Switzerland, Poland in the top 8. Now, this is the part of the caption that really matters. Sweden, Ukraine, Finland and Daphne Vils. That is the Italian and the French and the Croatian girls who just miss out. Boy, that is close. 3:50.10, 3:49.85. Ooh, bit of a heartbreaker if you've just missed a ticket to the big final. A long day again for 29 competitors going through all those dives. The first 5 marks will count for the final later. Done and dusted now. Lost in thought. A few tears we've seen, and thankfully a few big smiles as well.